Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so that potential buyers can learn more about the business and the seller to help them make an informed buying decision. If you would like to learn more about this business, including details like what type of business it is, how much revenue and profit it makes, and all of the assets included with the business, simply visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business's listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and in the description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. So without further ado, let's get into this interview. First up, let's learn a little bit about you. Can you tell us about your background in building and running online businesses?
So I started selling online over 10 years ago, around September 2013. I wanted to have my freedom, have my time to do what I wanted, and I started selling things on eBay, and I sold just odds and ends for about a year, and then I came across the niche I'm currently in, which is a bit of a specialized niche. But in that early process of just looking at it, must have been thousands, maybe tens of thousands of products. Just got a real feeling for different markets, what people were looking for. When I stumbled across the niche I'm in, it is a bit different. The products are a bit more complicated, more expensive, but it's more specialized, and things really took off. And I started selling a brand, and a Chinese brand, but then made it under our own brand name, did our own modifications, and just launched one product after another in our area. And I've been doing this for 10 years. And in that time, I've probably touched just about every part of the business, done it myself or did it with my wife, who's my partner, who helped out for a number of years. And yeah, it's been a really cool experience learning, the marketing, the financials, whatnot. I've been doing it for 10 years. I'm ready to move on to something else. I've got another project I'm working on at the moment, but it's been a pretty cool experience to see just all the parts of the online e-commerce world.
Why are you selling the business now instead of keeping it and growing it further?
The decision to sell is a difficult one. I've had this for pretty much my entire adult life, and I quite like our niche. I think there's a lot of opportunity, but I spent a lot of time thinking this year where I've had quite a few changes. I was in the United States, and I'm moving overseas to settle in France, and just thought a lot about what I wanted to do with my life. And I realized a couple of things. The first thing is I don't love the Amazon game enough to be really good at it. I've just realized that when you really love something, you can get really good at it. You practice a lot. And I just don't have that passion for the Amazon game. And I felt like I was selling myself short to just stay with something that I didn't truly love. Along the same veins, I realized that it's very important to me to try and get to a point where I'm financially independent, where I can spend the time to do however I want. I've been engaging a lot more of hobbies I enjoy, and I just I want to have a path towards financial independence. And while this business is great, it's not going to get me to $10 million in its current form. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if someone who knew Amazon well could double or triple it, but that's still if I got it there. And while I think that's very possible, I'd have to do something else. And I guess I just would rather put all my focus in something else. And right now that something else is I've been working on this application on the side, and it's really promising. And it's still early, but I guess I just believe in it enough that I want to sell the business, take a little bit of cash, and have a runway for a few years to work on this project. If it doesn't work out, work on other projects and see where that takes me.
Can you describe the amount and the type of work that you do on this business to maintain it?
I do a few things personally. I don't work that much for maintenance. It's not more than a few hours a week. I go through just emails from my operations guy and just other people, just make sure things are okay. I pay people, and I do a bit of the marketing. I'll think about perhaps we can do something better, change the price, change some way we communicate in one of our product lines. And I'll usually have my operations guy execute on that. And I'll do a little bit of the PPC. Basically, right now, our finance side, our operations side are locked down pretty well. I think there's a ton of, honestly, I do a terrible job on the marketing side. Haven't really done a real strong ranking strategy. I can't say I'm very good at our doing PPC. It kind of has floated around. So I kind of keep an eye on that, but that's something that, it's an opportunity if somebody wants to do that, but it's kind of a responsibility that falls through the cracks.
So if you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways you would try to grow it?
What I would do is, I've thought a bit about this, and for some reason, if a sale doesn't go through, this is what I would do, what I plan on doing. For each of our product lines, I would try to make it kind of I don't know how to say it, but a hero product in our niche. There's usually, expensive, high end, a kind of high end, and then kind of the commodity price. And we're a bit, not the commodity, we're a bit above there. But in that niche, I'd want to be number one in everything and really have a concerted ranking strategy to get there and push traffic and, get competitive on price to get there if we need to. And then I would try different things to really dominate each of our niches. For a number of our product lines, we have around 10 of them. Almost all of them have been a real top seller at some point, and some are right now. And when they are, things just go really well. And I would really focus on trying to get something there. And if it didn't work out, just keep it as the way it is. A lot of these have a decent margin, sell decently well, but I would really try to get in that top 2 or 3 spots.
Right. And what would you say are the biggest risks with this business that buyers should be aware of?
I think there are 3 main risks that I see in this area. The first is just the Amazon risk of they own the game and they sometimes change it. So PPC costs can go up, storage costs can go up, and these things do happen. Something that's nice about this business is not that seasonal. So if Amazon institutes something new, you can meander around it, you can solve these problems. But we've had many times where for a couple months, we've seen a decline in profits because of some Amazon policy. And then you just have to find a way to adjust your business around it. But there's no way of knowing what Amazon's going to do in the future. But that's just the Amazon game. The next risk is just competing against Chinese competitors who sell very similar products to our own. You don't have that super strong differentiator of just owning a completely different product. But in our niche, it's very important to make sure that people actually know how to use the products. It's very important that people in our niche, because it's very specialized, people really do need to rely on the products in our niche. So they are willing to pay more for a brand that they trust, that has a good guarantee, a good warranty, that is, American based, has very well documented products, because it's just the nature of this business. You need to have products that really work in our niche. But again, you're competing against the Chinese. They can offer cheaper prices. Sometimes they do a good job, sometimes they don't. But that's, of course, a risk. And the last risk is just technological, that all of our products are tech products. The technology could get better and things could get way cheaper. I don't know if I see that happening anytime soon, but any product, that's, of course, a risk. Of course, it's an opportunity, too, if things get better. A buyer, if I was running the business myself, you can act on that, introduce new products, just stay on top of things. But it is a niche where you will need to introduce products every few years. I'd say we've done it probably every 5 years, but probably every 3 years is probably about right.
How much support are you willing to offer the buyer who acquires this business?
This is a kind of a hard question. I want to see this business succeed, but I also realize there's kind of, incentives where I want to hand it off to the other person too. I think the first thing to say is that my operations guy, he knows the business really well. He knows a lot of it actually much better than I do. I think that a buyer will not have a hard time taking over this business, especially a buyer who has some experience in managing Amazon products or Amazon businesses, because I feel like that's the gap and the real opportunity there. And honestly, something I'm not that good at, but if someone's doing that, I think they have a lot of opportunity there. So the real question is how much support. I guess I'm open-ended to negotiate really anything. What seems to be the fair solution is just to have some sort of hourly consulting rate and for a number of months, and I'm happy to do that. And this, of course, is after the first month or to just get the new owners up to speed. I don't think it's going to need a lot of support from me, and I'm happy to help, but I do want to have a consulting fee or something in there just so it doesn't balloon out of proportion for me.
Got it. And regarding the sale of the business, would you agree to a non-compete?
I can certainly confirm to the non-compete. Obviously, I don't want to cause problems for a new buyer. I want to do things well. But beyond that, just from my end, I want to enter a completely new space. I want to learn something new. I'm working on other projects right now. So, obviously in the far future, I wanted to make some money. I might re-enter Amazon because it's something I know pretty well. Of course, nowhere near this space, but definitely in the near future, I won't be anywhere near this.
Are you open to negotiating something like an earnout agreement?
I certainly am. I don't want things to be left outside of my control. That's to say, while I do believe in this business, I don't want to have my future earnings tied to the future performance of the business because I can't control that. But I'm open to other structures and other financing options as well.
Okay, final question. If you had to put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why is your business a business worth buying?
I think this business offers a couple really nice benefits. One is it's pretty hands-off. I'm very honest, I don't work very much. I haven't worked on this very much for years and years. There's been times where I've been motivated and I've tried to institute new policies, launch new products, but the maintenance of this is pretty solid. The day-to-day can be pretty hands-off. The other thing I think is really attractive about this business is I think there's a lot of room left for improvement on Amazon or ranking on Amazon, because if you can get your product ranked well, if it can be one of the top sellers on Amazon, you kind of get that momentum on there and you can easily see 2-3 times as many sales. And as I said before, I don't really love the Amazon game. It's not something I spend a lot of time doing. And if somebody really wants to take this business and grow it and be the top seller in along the line of our product lines, by the top seller, I mean the top, in a kind of a good, better, or best option, I think there's a ton of opportunity to do that. And I think it'd actually be pretty fun. I think something that's very cool about our products is they genuinely help people. They're genuinely very useful. They're interesting to learn about. They're interesting what our customers do. I think it can be a very rewarding business for somebody who's motivated by the Amazon game.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this business is still for sale, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll find everything you need to know about this business. So, thanks for joining us. See you next time.